I need to, as a business owner, get to the point where I cover my costs. So I already am projecting how many people I'm going to need in my platform to cover my cost. And now what am I doing? I'm creating content around what I'm building to get people on my wait list. So once I launch it, fast as possible, I can get that number of people on the platform, right? So this is part of why I'm creating this content. This is part of all this idea of just because you have an idea, you could build amazing things. If you're not marketing it and trying to explain the story of why you're creating it, who needs to hear it, you're building in a bubble that nobody sees, right? You're building like in a silo. So I got to the point where I said, all right, this works. I've had multiple people use it, like in the dozens, and now it's getting to almost going to get to hundreds of people pretty soon. All right, now's the time to go. So I pulled the trigger. We started building last year, but it takes time, right? That's another thing. So the market is also dropping, and at the same time, I'm like, okay, I want to grow the audience of people using this. I don't want everybody to have to wait for the bot to be done, the AI to be finished to take advantage of these prices. So I said, all right, let me open up the class again. And again, the class did well. I got a bunch of people who paid to be a part of the class. So I said, all right, you know what I'll do? I'll keep doing this, right? Like I'll take that money, it'll help me to build the product, but I'm also getting customers for the AI, right? Because whether they don't want to use the AI or not, I'm teaching them how to do it themselves because this you can do on your own. You do not need my AI to do this. I've been doing it for 2 years without the AI. So I have the experience to teach people, and I have been. The good thing about the AI is even me doing it every day, I get to a point where I'm like, you know what? Today I'm not going to do it. You get lazy as a person. You have we're inconsistent as people. Like you'll get to a certain point where you want to do something and you don't, you just forget, right? It's another thing. We're human. You forget, or you go on vacation and you don't, you're not thinking about that. But where AI comes in and automation, it does it every day. You don't have to think about it. Another big thing is there's an emotional factor to money. When the money's up, you're high, and then when it comes down, you're down. So I didn't really like that about the finance side of things. So I wanted again to remove the human element from what I was doing, what I was even coaching people to do, because yes, you can make money, but some people do not like that lifestyle. Of course, people that didn't like the lifestyle, once they started making money, they start to like it a little more. But again, it's not for everyone, and I understand that. But if they could do that, if they could just put their money into something, then it does it for you, that is a good place to be. So I said, okay, what can I do where I can't lose? Right. So I said, okay, this system, if I build it, what's the worst case scenario? Not enough people want to use it. Right. And then I paid to have this. I'm paying every month to keep it up. And it's costing me more than I I'm making. Right. That's the worst case scenario. But then I thought, okay, what's the number of people I need to cover the initial cost? And I figure I'll get there even if I just do it with the people around me that are in my class or watching my content. Even if I don't ever get to huge amounts of followers or subscribers, I still don't need that many people using this app to cover the cost, right? So I'll build it, and just the people that are in my circle can use it, and we should get pretty close to the cost, right? And pretty quickly, actually. But there's an extra version of this that makes it easy for anyone to use it. I'm not just talking about people who understand crypto, people who are, a little bit more on the innovative, willing to risk side. I'm talking about grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, teenagers, anyone can use it. But to do that, I need more money a month because then I have to tap into other systems that cost money every month. But to build that, I want to make sure again I have the users covering it. So of course, the way I'm doing it is starting out with the lowest cost possible, MVP, get as many people on it as possible to cover those costs. And then as I grow the audience, it there's two paths I could take. I can either take what's called venture capital money, which I told you, MetaBronx has helped over 18 startups raise over $15 million together altogether. So very familiar with how to raise venture capital. Pros and cons of venture capital is pro, you get the money now. So like I told you, I don't have to wait till I make the money. I can get it right now and build it and then spend money on marketing and get people to land there faster. The con is when you take that money, you give up a part of your company. And if you give up too much of your company, you end up working for the investors. So I do not want that. I'm going to create an environment where if I do take money in, it is under my terms where I'm not going to be working for an investor. And the way to do that is to have traction. Traction is already people using your app, revenue. So if an investor wants a specific deal, I don't need to take it because already it's covering itself. So that's my plan. But again, worst case scenario, my portfolio will grow because I don't have to do this by hand and I won't miss days or if I'm on vacation, every dollar I make to pay or use to pay my bills will be invested for me for the rest of my life. I will reach retirement because of this bot, even if it means 50 people using it every month. That should cover my cost. And all of us are going to be able to put our bill money in there and grow it exponentially, right? Over time. It will compound, the interest will compound. And I'm going to show a calculator of how that works. Um, so yeah, that's where I am with the stack thing. But I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you a few things of how I'm managing this as a business, how I'm thinking about it, and then also the calculator. So I'm going to start out with the calculator actually. And actually, no, you know what? I'm going to start out with the presentation that I'm working on for a few things. Potentially for investors, I already have investors interested in investing in it, but again, I'm not going to take in money until I feel like we're at a good position to take it. Um, so all right. So basically, this is the logo. So again, I didn't name this until maybe a month ago, and I've been working on this for like 2 years in my mind. But a lot of people, when they work on projects and ideas, they'll name they'll spend time on the name and the logo before they even think about the problem, the solution, get customers that are interested in what they're building. And I just seen that happen so many times being running startup accelerators that I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna make the same mistakes. So I came up with the name Stack because, Stack is it's a term. Stack your chips. The idea is like stack your money up, so you end up with a lot more. So I really like that. Plus, in AI, Stack is a big part of the way you think through the way the software works. It's a big part of AI development. So I liked the idea of Stack as a name. I think it has a good catchy vibe. And then I made the logo, and when you look at the logo is an S, but it's also a block, right? Which because we're using the blockchain to make this happen, I thought it was pretty genius to use a block that's an S. And there's actually two S's in here. There's an S over here, and this whole thing is an S. So I just like that idea, and I like the idea of it looking like a place where you can put something in. Like that red area looks like a place where you can store things, right? So again, this is me playing around with branding. Again, I spent a lot of time in my life making logos and stuff like that. So I took my time in making sure I made a logo that I liked. But the idea stack is I want you to stack your payments. So eventually one day you won't need to work anymore, right? So if you want to get on the wait list, go to stackit.ai for that. So, okay, what's the problem? The problem that I'm trying to solve is a vast majority of people worldwide aren't investing consistently enough to secure their retirements. This is what I was talking about earlier in the video. If you want to retire and you want to get to a $2 million 401k or investment portfolio, you need to invest about $500 a month for 40 years. Most people are not going to do that. And even if you got to $2 million a month, that would net you, if you sold 3% of it a year, that would net you about 60K a year to live off of. Again, I don't see many people investing $500 a month for 40 years, actually 42 years, right? So I did that math and I was like, all right, what if there was a way for them to invest that $500 a month by just paying their bills? Using the same money that they used to pay their bills, they invest $500 a month with that same money. Now that becomes more realistic because for 40 years you're going to be paying bills, that's for sure. So what if there was a way that it can be automated for you where you put your money in, it pays your bills, and it invests for you? All right. So because these people are not investing enough, this means they could potentially face future difficulties and hardships later in life, which again is what I started to see. Like, if most people are not investing, they're going to have to work their whole lives because they're not going to have money that grew for them enough for them to cover their future expenses. So, what is the solution? So, our solution is a simple yet effective way to help people invest for retirement. With our platform, users can invest up to 70% of their bill payments they make every month, allowing them to save significantly more a month than they would be otherwise. They will be able to otherwise. So again, if I break that down, let's say you have $1,000 worth of bills every month, you can invest $700 a month and still pay those bills. And I know it sounds unbelievable, but I have at this point almost 100 people doing this. It's 100% possible. There's no way that it's not, because, and if you want me to show you, I have many videos showing people. I've done this with like children in the South Bronx. I've done it with 80-year-olds. It is 1000% possible. Now it just needs to be automated because it is a little bit technical, but not even that technical. Anyone can do it. I promise you, I have 80-year-olds doing it. You can do it. All right. So what is the main problem? If you ever want to retire, you need to invest consistently for decades. What is the only thing you're probably going to do consistently for decades? Pay bills, right? Like every month, if you don't pay your rent, you ain't gonna have a place to live. You don't pay you ain't gonna have a car to drive. You don't pay your light bill, your light's gonna go out. You don't pay your cell phone bill, you're not gonna get phone calls. You can't call nobody. So what if you can attach investing to the thing you're gonna do anyway until the day you die? Pay bills. Now imagine being able to invest 70% of the money you use paying those bills until the day you die. So what that means is you'll get to a point where, even though you have, and again, this is where I'm going to show you the calculator, even once you're done. So, okay, what is the product? How am I doing this? Of course, there's crypto, but crypto, like I told you, when I first got into crypto, you had to literally code to buy something. Then it became easy when Coinbase and apps like Coinbase came out where anyone can do it. So that's where, like, with startups, there's something called, they say, one of my mentors says this a lot: timing is not everything, it's the only thing, right? So one of the biggest things about a startup is you have to be able to time when a lot of people are going to be able to use this product. So if I would have made this 2 years ago, Coinbase did exist, but it didn't have the amount of users that it has today.